We'll have Anthony on in a second, guys, going into episode 3 of Dunk Dynasty. And I think without further ado, Mr. Morrow, how you doing?
I'm
Doing
good.
good, man.
Hey,
How was
Ron,
your
how you
day?
doing, buddy? It was great, man. Can't complain, man. Got the babies, holiday.
Nice.
Just spent it with them today, man. About to watch this Cowboys game.
Yeah, the Cowboys, man. What's your predictions? Yeah,
I got Tampa
same.
Bay winning. I got Tampa Bay winning, man. I don't want to piss off none of my friends as Cowboy fans. I know it's a lot of pressure on the day. I just hope it's a good game, man. That's all I'm looking for.
Right.
Just a fan. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you watching any of the
That's what
NBA
we
games today?
I I saw some clips. I saw Steph had 41 today. I saw Jason Tatum had 50 against the Hornets. I love to see when guys put on holidays. So, it's been good, man.
Awesome,
It's been
man.
a good
Awesome.
NBA season
So
so far.
I will give everybody a reminder, if you don't got NBA League Pass, we're not a sponsor, but I just got an email that League Pass is $50 for the rest of the season. So maybe you want to scoop it up while it's $50. So I was going to talk to you, man,
Right.
about so last week we spoke about Michael Jordan. We spoke about greatness and working hard, and that balance between being tough on your teammates versus wanting good for your teammates, especially in a championship culture. So I wanted to talk to you about the 2008 Redeem team that obviously featured Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, a litany of other players, Dwight Howard, Carlos Boozer, et cetera. And obviously Coach K was the coach. But let's backtrack a little bit. 2004, the guys lose to Argentina, and the coach at the time is Larry Brown, and you got a very interesting mix of players, a lot of young players with some vets like Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury. So now they lose. That's like the first time in American history where we sent NBA players, they lose. 2006, we got a new batch, a new coach. It's not the Olympics, but it's like the World Games, and they lose again, right? They lose again to Greece, and you had Baby Shaq tearing them up. And that obviously set the precedent to get Kobe in '08. So my first question to you, man, was some of the players in the documentary were alluding to the fact that like the Larry Brown system had an issue in it, and then they were alluding to the fact that like Coach K was the best coach for the program. So what light can you shed on those two responses, and what issues they potentially had with Larry Brown, who I love, great coach, one of the best coaches of all time, but then also what made them buy into Coach K?
Well, first of all, Coach, I want to say both of them are great coaches. Hall of Fame, obviously, respectively, NBA, college. But I mean, Coach Brown is definitely a harder coach to kind of get along with in that element, especially when you got that much talent on the team and you're trying to basically fit your system in with a bunch of superstars. Might have just lost it. You know what I'm saying? He may have just lost the locker room, and then it ended up being a big deal because we lost twice. And then, Coach K, I didn't know what to really expect from Coach K when that first happened, but the way the guys respected him, that really changed how I looked at Coach K. Like, I always respected him as a great coach, but it really changed. It changed the way I looked at him as a not just a X's and O's guy, but personality-wise. For him to come from college, deal with all those superstars, and all of them respecting him, and they felt right in line with his philosophy. That's a different thing, especially for a college coach when you got LeBron in them. Like, it's like it's not like I wouldn't think that would be an easy task to fill, and he did a great job. And I mean, he's a legend. That's what makes him who he is, and that was a great story. I watched the documentary on it, and I just really respect. When you can coach and bring those kind of guys to like all come together as one to win, really get the respect back to the U.S. and the NBA, and in terms of basketball, and that was something that was special, and I also think that it really put another great notch on Coach K's
So
career.
what was interesting in terms of, I was just thinking and reflecting, like, how did he get these guys to buy in? one of the things that he did, I saw in the documentary, was he came in like military garments, and he's former military, so he came in with like the military, the clothing on. So I felt like right away that definitely commanded some respect, right? And he brought in some of these motivational
Yeah.
speakers, former military motivational speakers. They had obviously Doug Collins talk about his, I hate to call it this, but like the screw job, right, where the U.S. lost to the USSR in the 70s. But I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
was. It was a screw job in a lot of ways. So I think that set the tone. That set some of the positive pressure. But what do you think about Kobe's inclusion, man? So like, definitely, I remember watching these games live. Obviously, being a big basketball fan, had to
Yeah.
wake up, watch these games, and I remember Kobe was like that closer, right? Kobe, no fear, no pressure, and you could see some of the other guys, even in the big moments, they were getting a little shy from touching that ball. But Kobe was Kobe. But at the time, the documentary pointed this out, and they did so very accurately. There was a lot of bad Kobe publicity at the time, in the sense that, Shaq left the Lakers 4 years prior, and many people blame Kobe for that.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers were actually struggling, man. People forget, for those 3 or 4 years, the Lakers weren't doing too good. Kobe had requested a trade to the Bulls a couple years prior. So talk about that move, man. Bringing in someone like Kobe, and then obviously Kobe's that assassin type of person, that one-man gang. So even for someone like him to buy in and really just fit that role.
Nah, man, I thought it was really cool to see, Dwayne Wade, his when he spoke about Kobe and his mentality. He said, man, he was like, he didn't even care about offense. He was like, he established us defensively from day one. And that's, I mean, obviously we know Kobe's a two-way player, but you don't really expect that when it comes to
Right.
the Olympic team, team. And I thought that was really cool to see that, because that set the tone for everybody. He's already the guy. You know what I'm saying? One of those guys grew up watching him, following him since he was young, and then him coming in there and just establishing that defensive mentality, and then also being a closer on the other end. This goes to say a lot about who he is and how much respect he had for the coaching staff and for his teammates. I think he was closer with those guys than people probably thought. And he is who he is, man. He came right in. He's gonna compete. Probably the best competitor I've ever seen in my life, I ever played against. So I wasn't surprised, man. I knew that, I said, look, they got Kobe and LeBron on the team. D Wade in his prime. Melo, they got these guys. I'm
Right.
like, man, they're going to be all right, bro. It's just going to matter. They really going to have to lock in and play real defense, because the style of play is so different from the NBA to overseas. It's so selfless. And, I mean, if you look at the league right now, like the guys that are like the MVP ladder, the guys at the top are all from other countries. Jokic, Luka,
Embiid,
Giannis, Shea Alexander. If you just look at it, that's what it is. Guys playing, man.
So
it's good. So they really had to go over there and play and get down, man. I'm glad they did.
So
that was a great
again, so
documentary.
2004, the guys lose, and again, very interesting mix of players. And these guys were on the team. LeBron was there. I believe Melo and Dwayne Wade were on that team as well, but they were young. I think this was like their first, only after 1 year being in the league. And I remember, man, watching those, because in 04, I was watching those games, and Tim Duncan's my favorite player. So Tim Duncan fouled out of a game, which was crazy, right? The big fundamental fouling out of a game. But it looked like those guys struggled to adjust to the rules, and they weren't familiar with like FIBA and the different rules and the different implications and whatnot. So now in 06, those guys are back again, meaning LeBron, Melo, Wade. They lose again, but they're more experienced in the league. And now in 08, even though they win, you saw, when they played Argentina, they were beating Argentina handily, and then Ginobili goes down, and then the Argentinians they have a comeback, but they wind up getting smoked out again. And then against Spain, that game went down to the wire, right? That game went down to the last few seconds. So my question to you, man, is this:
Yeah.
Look, Kobe in his prime, LeBron in his prime, a Dwight Howard who's just a year and a half after he's in the NBA Finals, Melo who's still an assassin,
Mm-hmm.
a Dwayne Wade who's in his prime, and a whole bunch of other dudes who are. I mean, even Boozer, man. People forget Boozer was putting up 24, 25 points a game in the season, with 8, 9, 10 rebounds. So, talk to me about
Yeah.
how the game improved overseas, and how were these guys overseas who were not as athletic, not as strong, staying in these games and competing?
I mean, the way they play, man, a lot of these guys have been pros
Mm,
since they were 12, 13 years old. So, like, I always use Luka as an example. Luka said, man, I've been playing since I was 14. He
right.
said the NBA is going to be easy. Everybody kind of went crazy, and he came in and showed them. He was like, I got
Yeah.
way more space over here. Like, I don't have as much space over here. I couldn't score like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could score, but it wasn't like it is now, where you got guys on the island, like every possession down, pick and roll or ISO. And he got every move and can make every shot. But overall, I told you look at Jokic. I mean, he got eyes in the back of his head. He's basically changing the
Mm,
game, the NBA game overall. These guys, Giannis is a little bit different because he's more of a power guy, but Joker, he's one of those guys that can bring exactly how they play overseas to the NBA, and that's what he's doing, and it's impressive. And I mean, he may get his third MVP in a row. You never know, but I think it's helping the NBA
mm,
that the way the game is changing. When I was playing, it was more, especially when I came to the league in like '08, it was definitely more one-on-one, pick and roll, still pick and roll, but it ain't as much ISO now. It's more movement, and it's just taking on the European style of basketball. I think it's good, man. People really learning how to really play at a really young age. You're seeing it with the young dudes. Even though the guys are more athletic most of the time, you're still seeing dudes like Luka, of course, John Morant, like just people getting better faster. Devin Booker, you know what I'm saying? Darius Garland, like people just getting better real fast. LaMelo Ball, and I think it's a lot to do. It has a lot to do with the
Did
style
you
of
see
play.
Ja? You brought up Ja. Did you see his throwdown the other day, man?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. I think he's jumping higher and higher every game, bro. Young legs, man.
No, but like a
It's
6'3"
crazy,
guy
bro.
doing that, man. That's crazy, man. Yeah, fearless, but the hops, man, the
Fearless.
hops, the reckless abandon, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I watched I watched one of his documentaries. No, I think it was like a story on him and his dad. And his dad was talking about like the workouts he used to do. And it was like simple when he was a kid, like box jumps, calf raises. And I was like, man, I gotta put my sons on that. If they can jump like this, because he was like that in college, man. It was unbelievable watching him play in college. But
We
man,
had someone just say Slim Anthony. He said his and one just now was crazy. So we're gonna have to look that up.
we gotta
So
look
the
that up.
other thing is you brought up Luka, and you're talking about that famous comment he had where he said scoring in the NBA is going to be much easier than it was to score in the NBA in Europe. So can you break that down for us? Because a lot of casual fans, I think they won't understand what that means. What is it? What's the difference about the European game that might make scoring more difficult?
I mean,
Hmm.
the rules are just different. You can goaltend. You know, um, it's like defense for 3 seconds, so the paint is packed. Rules are just
Hmm.
different, man, and they know how to play. They're not scared to
Hmm.
play against any NBA guys. We had played NBA like NBA over the borders. Like we went to Spain one year. One year we went to London. One year we went to China. So it's just like the style of play is different. They kind of they want
Hmm.
you to play that one-on-one basketball. And they come down, they just shred you up because they're going to pass the ball 12 times and then get a great shot. And they're so used to it, you barely see any isolation
Hmm.
plays and stuff like that. They want to right away. You know what I'm saying? It's in their DNA. That's what they do. They learn the game differently than we learn over here. That's why I think it's so much better. that the league is taking on that European style of basketball.
I mean, the
think people want
offense
to
is
watch it
beautiful,
too.
right? When you watch the European style of just like ball movement, player movement, cutting, rolling, catching the ball right under the basket. So that's kind of, we talked about this last year. I think we actually talked about it when we first interviewed you. And we were talking about the Spurs and the way the Spurs were playing when they won that championship in 2014, running all that different, motion offense, and guys are just constantly moving, cutting, passing. So the other question I was going to ask you, man, was like, so I remember back in the day, I forgot who said it, but somebody in the 90s was talking about like the summer. I remember there was that famous statement, like the summer is when you get better, like the off season. Like you got to, do you remember who said it or no?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have said it, but there was one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot. I mean, it sounds like somebody like Kobe probably said that.
I wouldn't be, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kobe. But my question to you was, I remember, like, again, watching the Jordan documentary. Why do I keep forgetting the name? The Last Dance. So when they got beat by the Pistons that last time, and then Jordan and all these guys got in the weight room, and they started hitting those weights, waking up early. They didn't take any days off. They worked out throughout the summer. That kind of set a tone for like future players, knowing that if you want to get better, you want to learn new moves, you got to work out in the summer. So my question to you was, what opportunity do you think working out in the Olympics offers these players when, man, you're not playing just with your normal teammates? You're playing with LeBron, you're playing with Kobe, you're playing with Melo, you're playing with all these top tier dudes. So what do you think these type of opportunities offer the NBA players for to get better?
I mean, it's competition either way, but also like you said, they're playing for a different mission. They're playing for each other, but they're playing for the country. And also they basically keeping each other sharp in the off season, because it's like a full blown new season, just not as long, obviously. And that's good for them. And I mean, I think that they push each other. They said, Chris Bosh was telling a story about, he got breakfast at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Kobe was done working out or something like that. So he was like, not only did he wake up early, he got a full blown workout in, and I'm just down here eating breakfast. So everybody started taking on that mentality. And I think that's what made them so special. They blew everybody out and made them who they are.
Remember back to your days, man. Someone asked you two questions. Who did you enjoy working out with that was on one of your teams and that, pushed you and forced you to become better? And then the second question would be, who was an opponent that really challenged you?
Teammate-wise, I'll probably say it's close, but I'll probably say Kevin Durant to work out with. Yeah, KD, like, and he wanted to feel like he got better that day, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That was motivating. So I love working out with KD. Him and Steph. But KD probably number one, just because he used to get so creative in the workouts, and it pushed me to. I'm like, we used to do like where it's like, hey, whatever move I do, you have to do to make the shot. You know what I'm saying? And we used to take turns, and it was cool because it really helped me. And he took everything so serious, man. You wouldn't think that I'm like, it's the reason why he averaging like 30 right now, bro.
Still,
it's a reason. I've seen it. Yeah, man. And then the opponent probably
mentioned.
A couple of them, man. Either D-Wade or D-Wade and Ray Allen. And but my welcome to the league moment guy is Karan Butler. He was hard to guard, man. I hate. Yes, man, because he was so strong, bro. But he was mid range, but then you couldn't back up off of because he could still hit the three. He had post game that was mean. Like, he had everything. He was kind of underrated, bro. But I hated guarding him, man. And he knew it too, because he used to always, like, he used to young boy me, man. You know what I'm saying? He knew it. Anytime I'm on a roll, I'm like, damn, we got to play Washington. I know how he coming because I got to guard him because they're not going to put me on Gil. I got to guard him. You know what
was it when he joined the Lakers? Did he refer to himself as the Brown Mamba? I'm trying to remember. The Brown Mamba.
As the what?
No, like
Brown
Kobe was the Black
Mama?
Mamba, and I remember he had a nickname, man. Yeah.
Oh, oh, the Brown Mama? He probably did. That sound like something. But he was cold, bro. I ain't
No,
gonna lie. He was fucking
Karan was
cold.
around for a while, man. He was with Miami, then he went to the Lakers, and then he joined a couple other teams. But he was rugged.
Yeah, why? Yeah, he was tough, man. I'm trying to tell you. I used to love playing against him though, because every time I played against him, I felt like I
Hmm.
got better.
We got one of the comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I, so one of the comments says, I
Nah,
used to
go ahead.
sign I think he's talking about yourself, Anthony Morrow, to my 2K team every year, no matter what team I was using.
Told you my 2K dude was more famous than me in real life. Everybody love him.
I saw one of
He
your
missed.
stats today on the story you shared that you got like one of the highest 3-point shooting percentages.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even know that. Shout out to NBA TV, man. They showed me a lot of love, man. I had a great time. I want to do it full time. That's what I'm praying for. That's my goal. You know, I always wanted to do that. But yeah, I mean they put the stat up and I was like, damn, I didn't realize that. You know, but that was a good group of guys to be in company with that stat. So
Yes, well,
just
let's
gotta
let's
keep it
let's make it
going, man.
happen, guys. NBA TV, get our boy on, sign our boy full time. He'll bring the heat.
Yeah, man, we're gonna start a petition, man, so they can so they can say, look, man, we gotta sign him now. They want to see him.
We'll edit this out into a clip and we'll push it, man. We'll make it go viral. Um, no, man. So I appreciate it as always, brother. Appreciate it as always, and thank you. I'll give you the last word if you want to mention anything. Otherwise, we'll same time or same place next week.
Oh, just happy New Year to everybody. I'm excited. I love doing this with my man Imran, and we'll be back next week with it. And everybody have a safe and great week. Enjoy this football, and just stay focused. Love you
Appreciate it,
all.
brother. Appreciate it as always, and thank you for everyone who tuned in. Dunk Dynasty episode 3. We'll have episode 4 live next week. Do like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.